Ladies and gentlemen, guess what? You could probably already guess it. We have a video today full of rumors, updates, leaks, news, all that good stuff. Some of this stuff, man, is just so damn crazy in an exciting way. And it looks like, we're finally hitting that turning point and the Switch 2 generation is really getting started. And there's some big surprises on the way. So let's go ahead and get right into this video. Truly, it's like, what the hell does Nintendo do? And I mean, not what they do in the terms of what do they do? We know what they do, but it's really hard for me to think like how they schedule stuff and plan stuff, because a random day, sure, let's do one of the biggest Switch 2 updates of all time. Sure, why not, right? Doesn't make sense. I'm not opposed to it, but I am confused. Regardless, we have a very exciting video today. Rumors, updates, news, leaks, all that good stuff. Some of them are massive. So before we get started, if you could hit a like and subscribe, that would truly mean the world to me. I think we are 130 or 40 subscribers away from 28,000. Also, follow me on Instagram and Twitter so we can keep the communities growing. And let's just go ahead and get right into this video. So quickly, I just want to touch on that Switch 2 update, like the big firmware update again. Since then and now, like I haven't made a video to talk about that, or I haven't made a video talking about that. I've made videos, just not about this. This is crazy, and I knew this was going to happen. Like, I didn't know this was going to happen, but sometimes as soon as I'll finish a video, it'll be like 1:30 a.m. and I'll schedule that video for the next morning. And I scheduled a video, and I literally looked at my wife and I was like, I just feel like some news is coming. And I had no idea it was going to be this substantial. So yeah, this is really cool. I have not used it yet. Like, I have it turned on for my Switch 2, but I am 30 hours into Fallout 4 and I'm addicted right now. I can't think about anything but Fallout 4, but I am excited to go back and test a bunch of Switch games again. I think the only caveat is games that utilize like touchscreen and a few other things. There's no boost there. So I know like Pokemon Let's Go and a few other games, which is fine, you know what I mean? So regardless, it's really interesting that they did this. I know they also updated game chat as well. So Nintendo is working, behind the scenes. I'm just curious, like, what other big surprises are on the way? Well, what about a new Pokemon game? Yeah, a new Pokemon game came out last night at the time of recording this video, and that is for the GameCube app. This is Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness, and as a lifelong Pokemon fan, I've been playing since 2000, maybe even 99, but I got my own Pokemon game in the year 2000. I've been a lifelong fan, and the strange thing is GameCube is my favorite home console of all time and has some of my favorite games of all time. I have never played this Pokemon game, not even for like 10 minutes, so I'm very excited because I know a lot of people say it's like a super underrated, really fun Pokemon game. Then you have a bunch of other people saying that it's like hot dog water. So I think I'm just gonna have to try it out myself whenever I do find the time. And if you take a step back and look, there's like a Pokemon overload. We got Pokemon Pokopia, right? I've been saying Pokopia, but it's Pokopia, I think. We got Fire Red and Leaf Green, and then we got this all within like 3 weeks. So speaking of new games, 3 new Nintendo Switch 2 games were announced today, as well as 1 Switch game that they snuck in there. And this is coming from THQ Nordic, which is, actually a pretty good developer, all things considered. So the 3 games that are coming over to the Switch 2 is Destroy All Humans Remake, Destroy All Humans 2 Reprobed, and Disney Epic Mickey Rebrushed, which is insanely underrated. And then SpongeBob SquarePants Titans of the Tide is coming over to the Switch. And as far as like SpongeBob games go, I haven't played this one yet, but I watched reviews and the gameplay looks really fun. I'm not saying it can't run on the Switch, it's a SpongeBob game, but I do actually think it's going to be a little taxing. So if you're interested in that, I would say probably just wait for the Switch 2 or getting a Switch 2. Disney Epic Mickey Rebrushed, insanely underrated, right? I never played the Switch version, but I have it for the PS5. And I played it all the way back on the Wii. Destroy All Humans, though, these games are so damn fun. Like, every time I'd have an Xbox, I would play the hell out of these games. So I am very excited to jump into these. And if you've never played them, there's quite nothing like it. Like, it's its own unique style of game almost. So yeah, these are super welcome treats over on the Switch too. Now I have a very strange relationship with one of the greatest games of all time, and that is Bum Simulator. No, it's not. What am I talking about? That's a real game, though. I'm talking about The Witcher 3. I should like this game. I like Skyrim. I like Zelda. I like fantasy stuff. It just looks like it was handcrafted for me. I've tried to play it once on the Switch, or maybe twice on the Switch, once on Game Pass, couldn't get into it. Recently on an eShop sale, I bought the game and all the DLC again on my Switch 2. So you're like, why? That seems like counterproductive. But I just feel like it's a game, if I force myself to play a few hours, I will get into it, and I know it'll become one of my favorite games of all time. I know this. I'm complicated, right? I just know that about myself. But I've had a feeling for a while, and it's not like the craziest guess or anything, that The Witcher 3 is getting a Switch 2 edition, and that Switch 2 edition will probably be free. CD Projekt Red works miracles on the Switch and now the Switch 2. So when would The Witcher 3 Switch 2 edition be coming? Well, we might have an answer to that. So a Polish analyst now predicts The Witcher 3 DLC will release in quarter 3 around September. This is like one of those gaming secrets that everybody kind of knows about. It's kind of been all but confirmed. Maybe it has even been confirmed by some insiders, but yeah, new Witcher 3 DLC is coming out this year. This is supposed to hold people over until The Witcher 4. So when you sit back and look at this, you're like, well, there's new DLC for The Witcher 3, and we don't have the Switch 2 edition of The Witcher 3 yet. If I was going to launch the Switch 2 edition of The Witcher 3, and this new DLC will probably not work on the Switch version, at least probably not. If I was CD Projekt Red, I would probably launch the Switch 2 edition of The Witcher 3 about the same time or the same time as this new DLC will come out. So obviously this is just a theory, but I feel very strongly about this. And as much as I've tried to get into the game and I couldn't, I'm so excited to finally play this game. Like, I love games that you sink hundreds of hours into. And I know once I get over that random threshold, whatever it is, I know I'm going to fall in love with this game. Now we have a leak coming from, I guess, the most credible game leaker, I don't want to say of all time, but at least in modern times, especially pertaining to the Switch 2, and that is Nate the Heat. And what's interesting is they came out, I want to say in 2024, but maybe it was last year, but I have a weird feeling it was in 2024. They said this game is not coming to the Switch 2, but now allegedly it is coming to the Switch 2, even though there's some difficulty. So Nate the Hate says, Starfield is seemingly still in development for the Switch 2, but it has not been a smooth process. So, there is a new Starfield DLC, and they're saying it's not Starfield 2.0, so don't consider it that. I've been watching a couple videos about it, but I think they are trying to at least give you the game that was promised. Me personally, I really enjoy what Bethesda does. I like Skyrim, I like Fallout, I like space theme stuff. So you would think somebody like me would be overly hyped for Starfield, but from the very moment they showed it off, it just did nothing for me. So I have a PS5, and I know the game is coming out next month for the PS5, and I always thought maybe I will eventually get around to it, but there's nothing really pushing me that way. But if this game did come over to the Switch 2, then maybe that would change. Sometimes I get into games easier handheld. Now, regardless if this game does show up or not, the main thing is, if it does show up, this is a pretty big accomplishment, and it kind of points towards other games that might seem impossible showing up on the Switch 2. Now, as much as I don't want to use this as an example because it's the most extreme example, stuff like Grand Theft Auto 6, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying this game is coming over to the Switch 2, but more and more we're seeing games that seem impossible show up. So nothing is really off the table at this point. And now, guess what, Buster or Busters? I have two more leaks, and these are coming directly from Nintendo. I know, the best leaker of all time, Nintendo themselves. And these are coming in the forms of patents and trademarks. One of these could potentially point to a Switch 2 version of a Switch 1 game, and I do think there's been some rumors for this. And another one might kind of point towards a Nintendo Direct coming sooner than later. So as you can see, this patent was published on March 17th, which is just a few days after this video is coming out. And this patent is in cross-reference to a related application that was filed all the way back in 2022. And one of my favorite things about patents is when you look at the pictures, you always try to figure out what game it's for. This one, I'm going to go out on a limb and say it's probably for Pikmin. Now, if I had to guess, this would be for Pikmin 4. And I don't think it's for a new Pikmin game because this is in cross-reference to 2022, like the year 2022. So definitely Pikmin 4. And what it seems like is they're just adding different kind of movements, and making your sub-characters interact better, which are the Pikmin. If I had to guess again, probably a Switch 2 edition for Pikmin 4. I know some voice lines have been recorded for Pikmin 4. That was a rumor. And we see how heavily Nintendo is pushing Pikmin right now. Like, there's Glow Pikmin in Super Mario Bros. Wonder, the Switch 2 edition, and in a recent highlight reel for the Super Mario Galaxy movie, again, they showed off Pikmin, and we know how much Shigeru Miyamoto loves Pikmin and tries to push it. So maybe we watch the Mario Galaxy movie, maybe Pikmin have a 20 or 30 second scene in there, and then people at home who are not so familiar with Nintendo say, what the hell is that thing? And then Nintendo drops the Switch 2 edition of Pikmin 4 in April. And I could easily see this happening. You know, this is something they probably already have done if I had to guess. Now, obviously, it's so hard to tell with patents sometimes, but I actually do think there is something here. Now, speaking of trademarks, you used to be able to just type in Nintendo and kind of find any Nintendo trademark. Now you have to search actual games or titles or franchises. And I searched one because I made a video recently, actually yesterday, about 20 upcoming Switch 2 games that I'm interested in. And Splatoon Raiders is one of those. And they showed this game off, in my opinion, way too early, right? They showed it off, said it was a Switch 2 exclusive. Since then, radio silence. So I kind of feel like it was shown off a little too early. So I found a trademark for Splatoon Raiders, right? That's not the crazy thing. What's interesting, when you actually go in here, the filing date is October 17th of 2025, which makes sense. But the publication date is March 10th of 2026, which was just a week ago. So now that the publication date has passed for Splatoon Raiders, it kind of makes me think that we should be getting Splatoon Raiders news very soon. If I had to guess, this would be in that next big Nintendo Direct, and it just seems like the perfect game to launch in the summertime, right? I know we have games for April and May. This could easily be a June release from Nintendo, so hopefully they show off some news sooner than later. But ladies and gentlemen, what do you think about this? Because your opinion matters most, and it will always matter more than mine. So let me know in the comments what you guys think about all this. And remember, if you made it all the way to the end of the video, do your boy a favor, hit that like and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter. Consider becoming a channel member. And big giveaways coming very, very soon. Be on the lookout for that. And you guys know me, I'll see you very soon with a new video. Peace.